Hello, welcome to my channel. Thank you for watching. It is a good channel. Today I wanted to talk about ego attachments, and I also want to talk about the purpose of this channel. Pretty much who I'm trying to reach and why. Number one, I'm full of cool, fun, spiritual philosophy in general. Also, I am an avid fan of grieving. I'd say I'm a successful griever, but those words don't quite make sense. So, I just really have changed as a person because I got in touch with deeper emotions and decided to grieve about it. And it's kind of for people who are at a crossroads, who use spirituality a lot in whatever form. I talk about astrology a lot, but I'm also heavily into Hinduism, like chakras. I'd studied Hinduism in college a little bit, and yoga, but that's where it all kind of came from. I'm into a lot of things, but yeah. So you might be at a crossroads where you did develop spiritually, but certain things just did not line up in your life. Certain questions were not answered. And I think part of the reality of this is whether it be what you think someone's aura is like, whether it be how you think someone is expressing, someone's natal chart in astrology, whether you interpret it like that, or if you read tarot cards, how you interpretate. I'm not saying that those things aren't valid, but let's put that aside, and how you interpretate what you see is based on your internal emotional world. And I knew that for a long time, but I didn't understand the emotional pain that I was in. So, if I had lost a family member, if a lot of certain things haven't, some things have happened to me, some horrible abusive trauma, but there's not so much social support around grieving for that. So anyways, because of my particular set of circumstances, my emotional development was delayed, and I was actually interpreting my astrology. It's like there were brilliant questions being asked, and I came up with brilliant answers. I developed my personality in so many fucking ways. Like, I completely changed as a person, But, the purpose of this channel, I think, is not to snuff out spirituality for those who are spiritually inclined, or empaths, or sensitive, or creative types. But to, if you need it, not everybody needs it, but if you need it, is to pull you into kind of a headspace within yourself, or lead you, show you, guide you into a headspace within yourself. And you might already have these questions and you're just looking for answers, because this has happened to me with YouTube. It's pretty cool. But into a space where you can put all that great stuff aside and just deal with life in certain ways that really improve the whole thing overall. Because I could stay in a dead-end job that made me... I've had certain dead-end jobs that almost killed me, And my musicianship, it's always flourishing. I'm gifted for life. My music, I just branched out into all these different genres without someone leading the way. I just absorbed so much. And throughout my whole life, it just won't stop. But now that I have seen my inner wounds from childhood, I feel like I understand myself a lot better. I feel like I listen to music better. I feel like I can hear things better. The wind. Sorry, it's in the Northwest, and if you've been to the Northwest, it rains a lot. It should be snowing because it's December, but oh well. But yeah, that's kind of the purpose of this channel. Yeah. Because I've been through crises, and my spirituality led me and guided me through a lot, and I stayed strong through some tough times where, I was homeless and a parent kicked me out on the street, and I really did yoga, did Tai Chi, and really forged certain parts of myself. Certain parts of me were still damaged, but I think that the most change, really grieving worked in ways that I didn't completely see. I could conceptualize astrology, and I did teach myself how to mature in a lot of ways. I did certain things to change in core ways. But what psychology did turned me into more of a person than a concept in my world. That's what it did. And there were viewpoints of codependency that I interpreted spirituality from, which fucking bad. It's a bad direction to go in, because if you live from the Western world, is what I say. I want to say America, but Canada, some of Mexico, parts of Europe, and Western, is fucking. Sorry, that wind. Woo. So, yeah, is and you have a certain way of thinking, and then you try and read about Zen or what yoga is all about. The word yoga means to yoke, to bring together, to be one. It can be confusing as fuck if you live in, a gentrified place, first world country. And, I don't know. But then if you got trauma on top of that, it's going to really bend it out of shape. And if you've got a strong codependency that you're not aware of, or why. That was the thing that really slipped my radar, because I had figured out a lot. I figured out a lot about myself. Really did a lot to change. But something still wasn't adding up, and that was frustrating me. And it was my emotions. Somehow, at the age of fucking 30, my emotions decided to go. My heart just finally went, oh, Steve, we're going in this direction. Okay. Like, it was kind of events out of my control that brought me to a very weak place. And, yeah. So, that's kind of about the purpose of this channel. And I want to try to connect it to ego attachments. I mean, ego attachments can make you uncomfortable, to say the least. If you're attached to an outcome, if you want something to happen, if you're desperate for it to happen, it also might be a sense of self. Maybe there are parts of yourself that you need to hold on to. Maybe you think that you need to shatter your ego, therefore become a completely different person, and certain parts of you can stay the same. Certain parts of you can change. These are the things that the wrong roads that spirituality has led me down, and I just want to try and fucking save people from that, because especially if you've got trauma, because it's your interpretation. If you don't have too much, if your parents didn't horribly abuse you, or you didn't lose a family member and couldn't quite get over it, or there's certain traumas that can really change. And you can tell when people are really traumatized. They're sitting there fidgeting, or they're looking around like they're scared, and in social situations in front of new people, you can read their body language and the look on their face. But if you know someone that's traumatized, be careful of, find out that kind of stuff, because it's important with astrology. And a lot of my trauma, honestly, fits within the grid lines of astrological interpretations that are very, not just what is your sun sign, like transits, periods of life that are marked by planetary configurations that happen slowly. Sun moves, we go around the sun rather fast, but Pluto takes for 248 years to complete an orbit through all the zodiac signs. All the planets go through all the zodiac signs, not just the sun. Which is like, I'm a Capricorn, so I was born in January. That's my sun sign. Yeah, little tidbit for you. Might repeat myself sometimes, but you know. This is a spiritual psychology channel. Yeah. How do you like it? I think it's alright. Yeah. So for me, it's weird what grief has done to change me in the way that I feel about ego attachments. I think that's because I would go in when something like would not go my way or something wouldn't happen the way I was working, even if I was working hard to make it happen that way. Working really hard. When I say I'm a hard worker, I am I am a Capricorn. It's not just that. I am just anyone's capable of hard work. So I'm just a hard worker. But, what the fuck was I saying? I completely lost my train of thought because my mind was like, boom, make this good point now. And then I forgot what I was saying before. Oh, yeah. Working hard to make something happen a certain way. Ego attachment. Because before I went through grief, I would have something not happen my way, and I would. This is called the abandonment melange. If you've read a trauma book, CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving, by Pete Walker, but that's a very specific type of trauma. I'm talking about for general traumas. But I would sink into like a childlike state of helplessness. Now, after grieving, I noticed that tendency. And that makes me nervous because I'm like, oh shit, I know what's next. But then I don't. Instead, I'm just not. Because I've gotten the crying out, I am not internally crying. So I'm really just. My brain is just like pop, 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 neurons. Just the right ideas that comes to my mind, and I know what to do about it. And it's a different attitude. And it's not something I'm trying to do. I have been using therapy actively, but I don't, I'm new to this. I've been doing it for a couple of years. I'm changing my personality and my life. And when I say my life is working out, I talk to people about, how I was into a spirituality and now I'm into psychology and my life is working now. I have a career that I worked hard for. When I was in spirituality, my professional life was, I'm just saying, if you're stuck in a situation, I feel for you. And, but I was capable of definitely doing more. I wasn't able to take advantage of what I'm capable of because of my psychological problems. So, I think wherever you are, you should be able to do your best. So, yeah, so fucking, I don't sink in. I do feel sensitive. It's not like I'm completely cured, but I'm seeing different results. And it's also, I did work hard. I went to college, finished college against terrible adversity. And first, my teacher set me up with an apprenticeship right when I graduated college, and that job wouldn't hire me because they couldn't afford another mechanic because we get paid a lot. Industrial mechanics, I guess. In that environment, we get paid the most. There are many jobs that get paid way fucking more, but in the environment, the warehouse environment, industrial mechanics are right beneath managers. So, fuck, what was I talking about? I'm just not so. Yeah, I could just get more answers coming to my head than questions because the questions come from a place of crying. They used to come from a place of crying. Oh no, I gotta do this, and now my brain is just okay, we have to do that because I'm able to relax more because all of that inner tension, it was emotional tension waiting to come out because I knew it's true. in my family unit, like I have been going, like unconsciously going in a different direction for a long ass time, and I reconnected to them, and it's like I had been probing things, but I didn't have a clue. Now I've got a clue. I know exactly what was happening, and I think that resolved a lot of inner tension within me. I still got a long road ahead. It's kind of a struggle, but it could be worse. Could be a lot worse. So that's what I mean when I say grieving, psychologically changing. If you've been through a lot of things I've been through, if you can relate to the spiritual experiences, which may have been deep and profound and life-changing in certain ways, like, now that I've done this, I'm not just dreaming about it in like an astrological myth of Capricorn climbed the mountain, and then for some reason thinking that I have to struggle. Really, the struggling was to keep the emotions pushed under. And now that's not happening. I'm not clogged up. And things are a lot easier. Even though they're still hard, I think life is hard, but if you're equipped to be able to deal with it, and nothing's going to make you more equipped than get in touch with psychological demons, or things that, demons is just a word that I say, like just psychological diagnoses, that's going to make all the spiritual knowledge more palatable, because you're not living, like, you don't have to live, and you can do things to improve your life. Maybe not to, like, an ego attachment, like some dream of, like, perfection, but you can make it, I don't know, you can make things better. If you feel like you're stuck and just can't quite, like, get it, Even people who are trying their best deal with setbacks. People who nail it in life deal with fucking setbacks. Everyone deals with setbacks. But sometimes, if you're like Kanye West, yeah, I don't know. If you're a celebrity, maybe not. But a lot of fucking people do. So, yeah. Think about all the people watching the celebrities. How many more people there are than celebrities. That's what makes them a celebrity. Okay. On with that little tangent. So, where I'm coming from, I'm just explaining where I'm coming from enough for someone to be able to relate and say, I have these kind of questions, I'd like to kind of know more about what's going on, and if it runs deep within you, like, really look at childhood trauma. I mean, that takes a lot to be able to say that and to be able to hear that. It takes a lot. I had to change so much, and you'd be surprised how positively you can change and how quickly. This is coming from a guy who knows everything about spirituality, alchemy, I've studied it all. But really kind of turning that down and looking at how the thoughts in my mind and how I interpret situations in life really is a big fucking key. So, yeah, that's where I'm at in life. That's why I'm emphasizing it. I've been through other stages of awakenings and stuff, but nothing hit me this hard. Okay, thank you for watching my video. Have a great day.